what I wanted to do was, when I was here last year, I was kind of the new maverick, and I talked about things like IP and software-defined networks and cloud and how everything was going to be virtualized, and really how mobility was really going to change this notion around TV everywhere. And it's interesting that was a year ago. I was, I think, 5 months on the job. And I think when you go to the showroom floor tomorrow, you're going to see everything that I talked about on everybody's booths. And so, when I did a preview of it today, last year we were one of the only ones. At NAB, we were one of the only ones that were really demonstrating play out from the cloud and software-defined networks and workflows. And I think what you're going to see is a lot of our peers are also joining, which is going to be important for this industry. So I wanted to just make sure that when we talk about, and I think when the industry talks about these disruptive technologies and solutions, that they're actually positive for the industry. For this industry to accelerate, for this industry to actually move forward, we have to move to a common protocol, and we're not too far away from it. There's a lot of folks that talk about IP from the standpoint that, gosh, can we really take an SDI or a baseband signal and get to a full IP workflow? And the reality is most of the workflow today is already IP. I mean, most everything from the broadcast station or the TV network that's traversing around the internet is already IP enabled, and so we're not too far away. So certainly IP over the next 2 to 3 years is going to become much more prevalent in the networks. You're going to see some of the product announcements that we're going to talk about today that's already creating that hybrid from baseband to IP. We've got some very cool announcement, one with Sky Italia that we'll talk about. Certainly, cloud and virtualization is hot on everyone's sort of topic right now, and for us, it's really about how do we enable the cloud and how do we enable a virtualized world. And certainly, when you think about our software and how our software is tethered with common off-the-shelf computing platforms today, we're already virtualizing a lot of what we're doing for play out and automation and storage. But when I think about cloud in the first real 18 to 24 months, at least some of the announcements that I think you'll see us make over the next 90 days are private clouds. So some of the large TV networks that we're working on, a cloud-based architecture, will start out with a private network, and then they'll move to a more public network, like with Microsoft or Amazon. So I wanted to just share with you what we've done over the last 365 days, which frankly is amazing. I think that for those of you who have been following Harris Broadcast for the last 20, 30, 40 years, Imagine Communications is a completely different company, and it's a direct result of a lot of great things that the team did over the last year. And this was a company that needed to be integrated. It was a company that followed the industry trends where we sold products. We really didn't sell solutions, and we really weren't very forward thinking. And so one of the fundamental things that we did over last year was just integrate the company. We simplified the product portfolio. If you looked at anything that we're publishing from our website to what the sales team is providing, it's a completely different go-to-market strategy. It's a completely different approach. Where we're innovating is much different than where we were a year ago. Sales are going to be up over double digits this year, so we're going to grow our top line by more than 10% this year. Our margins are up and our earnings are up. So the things that we're doing certainly are resonating with our customers, and certainly they're resonating with our investors. We created Imagine Communications and Gates Air. So on March the 17th, we announced this formation of Imagine Communications and Gates Air, which was very strategic. It was designed to take a media software and video infrastructure focused business, i.e. Imagine Communications, and separate it from our over-the-air transmission and mobile technologies, which is now Gates Air. So it's really given both companies an opportunity to really focus on what their core technology and innovation strategy is. And we're already seeing the benefits over the last 6 months of just taking two companies, one company, separating them into two companies, and creating the right kind of focus from technology to sales to marketing to even focus on the bottom line. We also made a couple of acquisitions, so 2 specifically in the TV everywhere space. We'll talk a little bit about how some of that technology is actually translating into results. And we've completely transformed the mindset from a culture perspective. And not that we weren't customer first, but I will tell you today, we are a very sales and marketing driven company. Even though we spend almost $100 million in R&D, we certainly have a different kind of thermometer when it comes to our customers. So let me just run through a quick, sort of reintroduction for those of you who haven't been following the company as closely as you should. So, on March 17th, as I mentioned, we created Gates Air and Imagine Communications, and Imagine is certainly squarely focused on this media software and video infrastructure space. If you look at just some of the stats, we have about 3,000 customers that span about 185 countries. We have almost 150 patents. We've been awarded nine Emmys. We have more than 3 million products deployed around the world. We control about 80% of all the top media companies' networks. We manage about $25 billion in ad sales and 2 trillion ad impressions today. And one of our largest ad sales partners right here in Europe, and that's B-Sky-B. So B-Sky-B is doing almost $1 billion in ad sales running on our Landmark platform. And we enable about half of all the video channels around the world. So we're someone that is relevant in the industry, and we're certainly someone that our customers are aligning with our business. We've got the largest media playout networking portfolio in the industry, and so we've really changed our go-to-market strategy from one that was very product-oriented to one that's very solutions-oriented. So the biggest challenge we've had with our sales team over the last year is just getting our sales team to learn how to represent a much broader portfolio, because in the past we had sales specialists that would just represent our media playout networking portfolio, which made it challenging for us in a lot of accounts, because our accounts were actually looking to us to come in and provide a much more end-to-end solutions-oriented sale, and we were going in selling media, we were going in selling playout and networking, and so that has made a tremendous improvement for the business. We've made a lot of investments over the last year in these 4 categories, so you'll hear a lot this week in some of the press that we will be launching. You'll hear a lot if you go to the showroom floor and spend some time looking at some of the demos, but we have certainly spent a lot of time, money, and energy trying to bring the realities of cloud and virtualization and what it means when we talk about software-defined networks and workflows, and what it means to migrate a baseband SDI network to IP. So I thought I would just provide you with a few data points, because common off-the-shelf computing platforms is well on its way. More than 50% of all of our customers today are already using standards-based hardware, despite the fact that we still live in a very proprietary hardware-centric environment. And the only way that we're going to get to an environment where, from a innovation perspective, from a collaboration perspective, from our ability to actually do things with other partners to help build a very complex network for the media broadcast industry, is for us to get to a common platform and get to a common protocol. And the same thing with cloud. I think it's interesting to note that almost 30% of the broadcast customers that were surveyed in this particular report are already deploying some type of cloud-based infrastructure, and more than 50% are forecasted to be implementing some sort of cloud-based infrastructure over the next 12 to 18 months. So cloud and virtualization is already here. I think there's certainly a lot of exciting initiatives that are underway that tomorrow night you'll hear some of them specifically from our customers. If you look at video, when I was in the IT and telecom space over the last 25 years, we strived to find what the killer application was, and the common denominator for decades was voice. I mean, voice was the killer application for communications, but today, voice is no longer the killer application for basic communications. It's actually video. And when you think about the fact that video is going to represent more than 75% of the entire internet's traffic over the next couple of years, it's both a challenge and certainly an opportunity for our customers and for our suppliers. But it's growing at a clip of 30%, and if you just kind of do the math, you can see that it's certainly an opportunity and a challenge for our customers. Mobility, from our perspective, has become the disruptor for the video industry. If you look at the fact that video traffic and mobility is growing at about 40% a year, and of that, real-time video viewing is growing at about 25%. So just think about that for a second. If you think about how fast the mobility market is growing, and you look at real-time video consumption on a mobile device is growing at 25%. We watch, as a society, about 30 hours worth of video a week. Half of that is viewed on mobile devices. And 75% of that family room TV viewing is already utilizing a second screen. So there's already Wi-Fi and true 3G and LTE mobile activity that's going on in the house today, which is creating a huge opportunity to create this intersection between social networking and video consumption. Steve and I will talk a lot more about this future of the network tomorrow night, but certainly we are convinced that the future network is here, and the future network is being designed and built. And if you could be a fly on the wall and spend the time that I have spent over the last year with some of the largest logos in the world, there is a lot of activity going on as it relates to how these future networks are going to be built. And they're not going to be built overnight, and they're not going to be built in the form of a flash cut. It certainly is going to be a hybrid. And we will work in a hybrid environment for years, but I do believe that we're going to get to a place where we're going to see more leverage and more value in leveraging software as a service and cloud and virtualization. So how do you get from here to there? Come tomorrow night, Steve's going to spend 20 of his 30 minutes talking about how we're going to migrate our customers from here to there. But certainly, as I said, this is going to be an evolution. It's not going to be a revolution. It's going to take some time, but I do believe that based on where our customers are at around the world, you're going to see more and more relevant information, like what you're seeing from Sky Italia, like what you're seeing with Telstra, what you're seeing from BBC, and what you're seeing from I was with some of the executives from BBC who were part of who came up and talked to me after the keynote this morning, and they talked about the fact that they're already doing virtually everything in an IP format today. So I think the industry will be surprised to see just how much IP is already being implemented into the industry. One of the things that I also was sort of promoting last year in a big way, both within our vendor community. So the vendor community participates in something, an association called IABM. I'm sure most of you are aware of it. I think I saw Joe here a little earlier. I think they've done a really good job over the last year, at least since I've been here, in really rallying the vendor community to really come together and not just be part of an association, but really figure out how we're going to create this open and collaborative ecosystem, which is going to be critical and essential for the next generation network. And 6 months ago, we announced a very strategic partnership with IBM, HP, Sony, Marketron. And today, I'm excited to announce a very strategic partnership that we signed yesterday with Microsoft. So as you know, Microsoft has, they had, I think, close to 20,000 people that participated in their recent CEO's vendor channel meeting, and the themes were really around mobility and the cloud. And Microsoft's going to come out swinging, and they're going to make a huge impression in how our industry can actually leverage their cloud-based services, Microsoft Azure specifically, to deliver a lot of these technologies. And we've developed a very unique software platform that we call Xenium, and it essentially tethers together and works across multiple platforms from our playout to networking, to where whether you're deploying media, playout, networking, OTT, video on demand. We're able to really manage that entire workflow in a very seamless manner. And Microsoft has partnered with us and has selected this platform to actually be a key contributor to how Microsoft Azure is actually going to manage these services going forward. So I wanted to introduce Bob DeHaven, who is here with us today. Bob, come on up.
Thank you very much, Charlie. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to you, too.
No, I mean, I know you're not on our M&A list, but...
you never know. You never know.
But tell us from your perspective, what this partnership means to Microsoft and to the industry. You know, for a lot of folks, Microsoft is a new player in the media broadcast industry, and here you come, and you're partnering with, you know, a company like Imagine. What does it mean?
It's significant for us. Video. You actually used the number 75%. We think it'll be closer to 85% of all web content by 2017 will be video. We think the management of that video is critical, whether you're an OTT service, whether you're a distribution house, whether you're a corporate entity who's pushing out training videos anywhere else in the world. We think that is the key killer app moving forward. His application, Xenium, sitting in the middle of that, being able to control the ingestion, distribution of all that environment is a massive factor in that strategy. In fact, Azure Media Services has become the largest or the fastest growing Azure-based application that's not named Office 365, which has been a tremendous success. Our whole Office Productivity Suite has gone, you know, viral all over the world, inside of enterprises as well as small SMBs. But we see video as the key driver there, and Azure is the perfect platform for it. It's scalable. We've got data centers all over the world. We're handling security. I'm sure you guys have been seeing some of the stuff we're doing with the U.S. government to hold them from actually getting data from our servers. We're taking a leadership position on that. It's a massive play for us. We're thrilled to have you guys in this position. I think it's going to do wonders for both of us.
I agree. Well, can we high five?
Yeah, we certainly can high five. And I'll look forward to spending some time with you on stage tomorrow.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Bob will be one of our keynote panelists tomorrow night. So we've got quite a lineup. I'll talk to you about that at the end of towards the end of the event. But I wanted to introduce Glenn LeBron. He's Vice President of Product Marketing, and he's going to talk about some of the specific product announcements that you're going to see us roll out, I guess, well, it's the media, so I guess right now.
Thanks, Charlie. Okay. So the first of 5 that I'm going to announce here is what we call Versio Cloud. Now, Versio Cloud is, well, first of all, Versio is a product we've had for a few years. It's our integrated channel playout platform. Now, Versio is now cloud enabled. Of course, marketing geniuses called it Versio Cloud. It may not seem like a cloud-based playout platform is much different than a premises-based playout platform. However, if you think about and you look at the great brands today, they're competing against low-cost internet brands. They're really, I mean, probably all of you know, when you go online, there are tens of thousands of new channels. These new channels really are fragmenting the audiences. They also have a lot of low-cost production and distribution. So, and all of that's really tied into an IP environment. Really, what Versio Cloud does is it levels the playing field. For today's media companies, they really need a level playing field. In effect, they need to expand their brands and their content to new channels, via the cloud, just like the internet competitors do. They need to create and play out these channels. They need really to be free of what I'd call geographic restrictions. They need to reduce their dependencies on brick and mortar buildings, etc. And with your content in the cloud, your play out in the cloud, you make all of your operations much more accessible globally. It also, a lot of folks in the broadcast chain, there's a lot of partnerships in the broadcast chain. It also makes it much more visible to the partners in the broadcast chain relative to what's happening there. You can get anywhere, anytime, channel creation, branding, editing, graphics, and of course this applies against linear and OTT. So this is really a great competitive weapon to use. So Versio Cloud is the first. Now, Charlie mentioned a little bit about Sky Italia, and we actually have a product that we announced. We call it Magellan SDN Orchestrator. Today media companies are faced with tough decisions. They have to decide, do I construct new facilities? Do I do it in all IP? Do I go do it in baseband? And the nice thing about Magellan SDN Orchestrator, it allows them really to operate in the hybrid world that Charlie had mentioned. It's a management tool. It's open. It's standardized. You can configure both your baseband and your IP elements in your network. This Magellan SDN Orchestrator allows the operator to set up network routes for the video bit flow, and in effect creates virtual tie lines. So whereas you might have physical tie lines today between a couple baseband routers, you can create virtual tie lines over distances, if you will, similar to what Sky Italia is doing here. So you can have operations in one city, operations in another, and effectively have baseband or ASI that's just ported over the cloud or over the IP network. The great thing about this is that you can use familiar controls. So in essence, this creates on-ramps and off-ramps to IP, but you can use your existing controls today, and you don't have to retrain your operators. The other key thing about Magellan or SDN Orchestrator, and I think our implementation of this is key. We're not copying the IT switching experts. We are not trying to go outdo Arista and IBM and Cisco and HP and others. That's not our game. There are people who do that really, really well. That's not where we're competing. So what we're doing is letting switch vendors be the best they are in the IP space or the IT space. And that really eliminates any proprietary implementations and allows our customers to leverage Moore's Law. Okay, Landmark Express. So Charlie indicated just a few minutes ago we're a global leader in media and advertising software. 2 trillion ad impressions and 25 billion in ad sales a year. Well, what our small and mid-sized customers wanted was a compact and efficient system. So we've got a really big Landmark system. They needed something compact and efficient. And in effect, we created Landmark Express from our Landmark media software that's used globally. Now, it leverages that portfolio and provides things like ad sales and campaigns, traffic and rights and scheduling. With a modularized view of this. So you use kind of field-proven modules. You can add those modules as required. It's got flexible deployment models. You can deploy it on premises in private cloud or public cloud. And it also allows you to have simplified configurations, easy upgrades, and add new modules in over time. This also leverages the power of Microsoft Azure Cloud Platform. Okay. Just 2 more here. Xenium. Charlie mentioned Xenium. Xenium is a modular software environment for customizing workflows. You can design, deploy, provision, and manage your software-defined workflows. So it is a scalable and agile, robust development environment, a framework for partners. And it applies across, as Charlie said, all environments, media, playout, networking. And I kind of like these words. I think of it as a software supply chain. So in effect, it's putting a physical supply chain into the software realm. Lastly here, channel brand with Animation Builder, Nexio channel brand. So this is software-based channel branding. It's tightly integrated with our market-leading Nexio video servers that most of you know. Provides multi-channel branding. You can deploy this standalone or part of a larger Nexio environment or with third-party automation. It has 2 performance tiers and 2 channel densities. You can do with this, with channel brand, you can do multiple live input switching, digital video effects with unlimited layers. And it also integrates with our Landmark Media software so that you can do things like sell your graphical events like bugs and crawls. So, help monetize your content there. It also leverages our full Nexio amp. That's our kind of premier video server. Clip and record playback from internal or external storage. And the animation builder piece of this is really key. It's for graphical cross-platform template creation, and it leverages native Adobe After Effects rendering for streamlined workflows. So that was it on 5 fairly quick overviews of product. Charlie, back to you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you bet.
Don't go too far because we're going to open up to Q&A.
Okay.
So I did want to just give a plug to Imagine Live, only from the standpoint of, I don't know that everyone has registered, but the fact that you're here tonight, we've auto-registered you, and I only say that from the standpoint that it's an event that's sold out. We have over 1,000 people that have registered for this event. It's at the Music Abow. I don't know if you know where that is. I think Brian said it was about a mile away from the train station. Does that sound right? It's out on the water. It's a beautiful venue. We've got an amazing lineup. Brad Wall from Disney will be there. Jeff Eels from B-Sky B. Balin Nair from Liberty Global. Andrew Anderson from 7 Network. Steve Canepa from IBM. And of course, the handsome Bob DeVevan from Microsoft. So please come, and all of the press releases are on a thumb drive that we will, so everything that we just shared with you, we have a press release that's going out tomorrow, so you all will have that tonight. There's a thumb drive that we will give you on your way out. The presentation, I know you're going to ask me if it's available, and I will make it available. So Kim, we can do that online or however you feel like is best designed for the media. Bob and I and Glenn will take some questions here, and I guess I'll just close by saying I appreciate this group following us. You know, it's not easy when you're a private company to do these sorts of things, and I think it's very unique that we have such a robust media and analyst following in this space, and I think you guys have a cool job ahead of you over the next 2 to 3 years, because this industry is going to go through a lot of change. There's been more change in the last 5 years than I think in the last 50 years, and I think over the next 18 to 24 months there'll be more change than in the last 5 years. So we are certainly in the fast lane, and that'll be exciting for those of you covering the space. And I think we're going to be exciting because we're a company that's spending a lot of money. I think directionally we are aligned with where this industry needs to go. We're certainly going to pull it along with us, and you'll get the truth in all that we're doing. So I know after this, there's dinner for all of you, if you can stay, and more than soft drinks. So you'll like our presentation even more afterwards, and I hope to see you tomorrow night. So thank you very much.